Hey there folks, Rel here. In the background you'll see some gameplay from PlanetSide 2 as I share some thoughts on better gaming. Today I'd like to talk a little bit about distortion of authority, which is probably a term I completely made up, but it's a term that I think should help me get the point across. So I have a really bad habit, or a good habit depending on how you want to think about it. My friends hate me for it and I don't really blame them. When I play a game like Heroes of Newerth, I'll build my character in a way that I find interesting, not in the way that's considered best. Actually, I make it a point to stay as far away from what's considered best as humanly possible. To me, this is just fun. I mean, to my friends, it's actually really annoying, even though sometimes things work out really well for me. Other times, not so much. But I get to have the satisfaction of knowing or confirming all of the reasons why. So what I'd like to ask is, how do you define what the best of something is? As a gamer, we usually follow the road most traveled, and as a YouTuber, we love that this is the case because it will get us a lot of views. You oftentimes see videos with titles like best gun, or easiest way to do this, or quickest way to do that, and as a YouTuber, we know that you're going to click on it. It seems to be commonplace in our society to just try and cut corners. So what ends up happening is that a lot of people will watch these videos and they'll convince themselves that what is being said is the truth. And not only that it's the truth, but it's the only truth. Now, what's even more interesting than that is if that person is popular or is generally trusted by the community, they get this sort of cult following, or this audience with a mob mentality. So when someone says something legitimate that argues the point, that mob is just going to downvote that post into oblivion. And this is what I mean by distortion of authority, because someone who is well known says it, it must be true, right? But even that is less important than understanding what the personal filter of the YouTuber is seeing things through. So here's an example. LevelCat puts out a video that's titled Best Faction LMGs, and in that video he makes his personal filters very clear. He rates his weapons based on their overall versatility, which is why he likes the Pulsar LSW so much. Now, does this make the Pulsar LSW the best LMG for Vanu Sovereign? Maybe. If you agree with the way that he perceives things as best, then that's probably the gun for you. But like I said, LevelCat makes it pretty easy to figure out where he's coming from, because he tells you in advance what his criteria is. Statistically, I can tell you which gun is superior for any given situation, but rarely is there ever going to be that binary situation that makes this a reality. If my aim is amazing, I'm going to have an easier time using a weapon like the Reaper DMR. And if I said that the Reaper DMR is the best assault rifle in the game, it's not. I could back it up with statistics and analysis and comparison, but that wouldn't always be true, at least not for every person, and certainly not in every situation. Even if I'm dancing through the battlefield killing everything around me and making things look easy, that doesn't mean that the weapon is good. It just means that it works well for me, or that I'm skilled, or that my computer runs well, or whatever the case is. So it's up to you, the viewer, to look at the video and understand what's going on from your filter. Take what you're seeing on the screen and then put some thought behind it. If you have crappy aim, or you have crappy frame rate, or whatever the case, no matter how overpowered you think that shotgun is, it's not going to do anything for you. Never take something at face value. I mean, if I, or Kool-Aid, or Youngblood, or LevelCap, or anyone says that something is best, or easiest, or the smartest, don't just follow what we say blindly. Because we all view things in a certain light, and while a smart YouTuber is going to try to look at things from multiple angles and present that information as such, there's always going to be things we forget to say or that we leave out. What's more is that you should just go out and experiment for yourself. The Pulsar C, for example, is a weapon meant for medium to long range combat, statistically. I'd say that it's not up to snuff for short range encounters, but will it work for you differently than it works for me? Will that recoil pattern or the slow rate of fire but the high bullet damage make an impact in your effectiveness? When you see that one guy that's like, I don't know what you're talking about, this Pulsar C works just fine in close range combat, what they're really trying to say is that the weapon works well for them. Because statistically, you're wrong. Sorry, you're wrong. But statistics are never the end-all be-all, and they're only half the real story. And that's part of the reason why I thought it was a good idea to try and factor player skill into the shotgun roundup, because no matter what the weapon does, or what the class does, or even what game you're playing, we're all going to play things differently. Aristotle said that It is the mark of an educated man to entertain a thought without accepting it. So my challenge to you is twofold. For one, step outside your comfort zone. Play a class you don't usually play, or play a weapon that you don't usually play with. If you think that infiltrators are only good for sniping, then mix things up. Try going on a knifing spree. Maybe you'll end up being surprised, or maybe you'll end up reinforcing what you had originally thought. But either way, you win out, right? The second part is to constantly question what people are saying. If the pieces of the puzzle don't add up, it may not be because you're putting it together wrong. It could just be a defective product. If this video has been interesting, helpful, or entertaining, or maybe even enlightening, probably not, please feel free to like, subscribe, and tell your friends about the channel. Thanks very much, folks. We're all signing off.